Profanity Nation.
Yeah, it's the new era of man for some old school fans with a new school brand. We got money on the mic with the plan in hand. And Stat Pat to his left, they go hand in hand. And to the right, we got Simpster, he putting it down. It's the Profanity Nation, we running the town, yeah.
It's the Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation.
Hey there, welcome, and thank you for watching the Profanity Nation podcast. As you can see, we're a little bit alone here. However, that is going to change. We have a guest on the show, Andrea. We, of course, moved to a new studio, so sometimes that's difficult to find. So she is on her way, and Money Mike is there to save the day. But we are here, and we will hold it down until they get here, and you guys will, that's what happens on a live show. The show must go on, right?
You got to go on.
All right. So as usual, of course, this is the Profanity Nation podcast. We are the voice of the professional fan, and what that means is we are your voice. We provide your voice. We try to bring the 300 sections down into the podcast studio. We give you the true opinion of what the fans are thinking, right, Stat?
Yes, sir. I mean, that's what, that's exactly what the whole show is about. Gear for the fans. So.
Exactly. And as usual, I am joined here. We'll introduce Money Mike when he comes, but as usual, I'm joined here by my buddy Stat Pat.
Yes, sir.
Stat, you are well aware of the Lakers' position right now. We all have concerns, but we'll get to that.
Yeah.
That's what one of our guests is going to be here, Andrea. She is so knowledgeable. Well, she's from Clubhouse, so we know.
Yeah.
If you watch the show or if you listen to the show, then you know Andrea. She knows what she's talking about. But we always start the show, and we're going to continue to start the show like we always do with our boy Marco Nunez. Hey, Marco, how you doing?
Hey.
How's everyone today?
All right. We're holding it down. You got to do it, right? You just got to move forward.
You got to keep on trucking, as they say.
The show must go on. At one point, I think the Lakers played with only 9 players. So, we're playing with 2. And that's just the way it goes. Sometimes people go down for different reasons. Marco, the Lakers, I don't think they're necessarily finding their stride. But news is that LeBron's abdominal injury is kind of coming around. Now, that news kind of broke after there was some sort of either misinformation or something stating that he might be out for an extended period of time. But that didn't end up happening, or we don't know yet. So, what should we expect from, LeBron coming back at his age? Always take that into account with this type of injury.
Yeah, so I mean, the one thing that you want to look at primarily, and it was the same thing that was kind of occurring last year with Anthony Davis, is you want to make sure that there's no what we call compensatory patterns or movements. Obviously, if he comes back a little bit too early, he's having some discomfort, he can't move properly. The abdominals or the rectus abdominis muscles is one of your main core stability muscles in there. It connects to the pelvis. So like I tell everybody, when you think of the pelvis, you think of it as a teeter-totter. If one area is tight, one area is weak, it can mess up the teeter-totter, and then the athlete tends to compensate in a different area. They may result with a different injury. They may result with something, a strain or anything of that sort. So, him obviously being a little bit older, I want to call him old yet, but older, there's things that you have to kind of keep an eye on. But even then, even if it wasn't him, an athlete that was older, this injury itself, or whatever athlete it is, what's a younger athlete, you still want to kind of keep an eye on that type of thing. Yes, I heard about the reports that was potentially he could have been out for a little bit longer. I know one of the issues was that the Lakers never stated whether it was a first, second, or third degree strain. So that kind of leaves speculation to a lot of people. It's like, are they not saying anything? So because it's so bad that they don't want to say anything type of thing. So, usually a mild strain can be anywhere between 1 to 2 weeks, usually between like 7 to 14 days. And the way it sounds is that he might have just kind of tweaked it, had a mild little strain. So he's kind of back on the court. So he should be back within like the 2-week period of the strain. Something that's more severe, then you're looking more at about 6-week process. But it doesn't sound like it that we're in that area right now, at least right now.
Do teams actually worry about what is released and injury reports and things like that? Or do for the most part, they just kind of call it as they see it? Are there really games being played, back there? And what are the benefits to that?
Well, you see, one of the issues with this nowadays is well, not even nowadays, is that the way you think about it is that any medical information is the players own that. It's, just like if you go to the doctor cannot just call, release information that, that you came in for a cold, that you came in for this. So it goes out to the HIPAA violation, the HIPAA stuff. So if an athlete doesn't want anything released out there, the team cannot just go out and say, hey, you know what, let's report it, even though the athlete doesn't want to. So nowadays, especially in the athlete has more power, so they kind of dictated this out. Okay, I want this to be released. I don't want this to be released. I know that was a case, last year or a year and a half ago with the whole the coronavirus. Some athletes, some teams were releasing who had the coronavirus. Some athletes were like, we're not going to release anything. They're just not playing today, type of thing. So it comes down to that, where the athlete has possession of their medical history, their medical information, and they dictate whether what's going to be released or not. And that started happening maybe about 10 years also, when the agents also got really, really involved with it, where they kind of dictate. Later down the road, I could tell you other stories about my involvement and interaction with agents themselves.
All right, perfect. Look, I think somebody's here. Let's bring them in right now. Will you stay with us really quick, Marco?
Yeah, I'll hang tight.
All right, absolutely. Let's bring him in here. Of course, with no further ado, our guest has arrived. Andrea, how you doing, sweetie? Thank you for being here. Here you go. Let's get you going here. So that is working, and then you have a set of headphones right over there to your left. Money Mike will assist you with that.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, we can't wait. This is great. We've been wanting to do this for a while.
Yes.
Much deserved, let me tell you.
Oh, these headsets are great.
All right, you can hear everything okay?
Right?
Yes, I can hear you. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi there. Hey, Marco. Okay, so Money Mike, how you doing, buddy?
Man, I'm great. How you doing? How's everybody doing here?
Great. Do you want to get right into any questions with Marco?
So, Marco, I want to ask you about our boy Reeves, right? They basically said that he had a hamstring injury, and they said that he didn't respond to the treatment. And then they said 10 days. What that mean? What does that mean? He didn't respond to the treatment.
So,
what? Let me know. I mean, that sounds like his muscle ignored him. You know what I mean? And so
muscle checked out, and he was kind of allergic to whatever treatment that they gave.
Right.
It's like antibiotics, and you have a reaction to it, and you swell up, type of thing.
Right.
Well, no, I mean, bottom line, one, we got to find out what kind of treatment they were doing. I don't know whether they were doing something as far as PRP, especially with a hamstring strain or any kind of muscular strain. If they suspect that the athlete's going to be out for like 2 to 4 weeks, sometimes they'll do like a PRP treatment type of thing and see how the body reacts. And they'll do it under ultrasound, they'll do an MRI and see if the tears if the tear that's in there starting to kind of heal up or scar over. Maybe perhaps they didn't see the results that they wanted to see after a 1 week or 2 week period. They're like, hey, you know what? We're hoping for him to be a little further down the road type of thing, or kind of more healed. Two, I don't know as far as how's he progressing. And the one thing you got to consider is that everybody's body heals completely different. If I tell everybody, if you have 3 athletes that sustain an ankle sprain the very same game, they're all going to come back different times. There's no guarantee that they will return the exact same day and at the same time type of thing. So it just depends. But I guess the first question is, what kind of treatment did he not respond to?
Okay, Marco. So I was reading about just the 2 guys on the team that had like the same injury. So I think it was Rondo also had a hamstring injury, and so they said that he had that Reeves had an overt strain. Like, what is an overt strain? I don't understand that the terminology.
An overt strain.
Yeah, I read that somewhere, man.
Yeah, so you don't understand it either. That's the problem.
I assume they knew what they were talking about. I read that off the website. But yeah, an overt, OVERT, that's how they spelled it. Overt strain. And I was still trying to figure it out because I know English.
You like to consider yourself kind of smart.
Yeah, I'm pretty kind. I'm trying to be a teacher here. I'm trying to teach you. But yeah, I don't know what an overt strain is.
I'm going to take a mulligan on this one because I'm a little bit at a loss as well. That'll be my one mulligan for the year.
Okay,
deal.
That's no problem.
Deal. You deserve that.
Then I'm I'm calling it like credibility.
But I'm curious. I'm actually going to go research exactly
on the source.
Now, the question is also, I guess, is when you have a hamstring strain, is it more in the belly, the muscle? If it's in the center of the muscle, more likely it's gonna heal a lot better, a lot quicker. If it's more kind of proximal or distal or away from the center or closer to the tendon, especially if it's in the tendon because it's very low pore blood supply in the tendon, that takes a little bit longer to kind of heal. So I don't know. That's maybe one of the issues that you might be having.
Deal. Money Mike?
Nope. I see a nodding head. No. What does that mean?
Man, listen. I mean, it just doesn't. It just doesn't make sense because I hate the. What I hate is the unknown. You know what I mean? Like I like, you know me. I like to know, like, if you broke a hand, we're gonna be gone 6 weeks. So it's the unknown for me. With Mr. Reeves, but apparently
Just gonna have to accept it.
We're gonna have to accept that. Who else is injured? We got Trevor. His bone is still healing.
His bone is still here. We discussed LeBron already, so you'll have to watch the replay for that one.
Yeah. Well, he has his abdominal, so
yeah, but he's coming back. So he's coming back soon. So it's a good thing.
Yeah.
All right, Marco. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us as always. Please let everybody know the best way to keep in touch and keep up to date with what you've got going on.
Yeah, everybody. If you guys have any questions regarding sports injuries or your fantasy football or anything like that, you're welcome to DM me on my Instagram at Marco A. Nunez 17. Or you can subscribe to my YouTube channel at Evolve Athletic Performance, where I put in weekly sportsman tips of the weeks.
Thank you so much. We'll see you next week, Marco.
Thank you, Marco.
Thank you.
all right, Marco.
Have a good one. All right. So he brought us some good information. Again, we talked about LeBron really quick. I will bring you up to date. Obviously he said that the Lakers never released what grade that the strain was. Mm-hmm. And that's what led everybody to kind of speculate. And we asked as to why maybe that wasn't released. That is all based on player discretion, not team. Players can decide what medical information they are willing to release and not. So I thought that maybe that could be the team trying to hide information and so forth. Supposedly, we're being told that is the player's discretion.
Look, I mean, the reason why that doesn't make sense. Well, let's say this. I hope the team knows, right? Like if we go back to like the Clippers, for example, last season, they knew that Kawhi wasn't coming back. That's why he was in the luxury box.
Did they tell the other players, or were they wondering every freaking day?
You know what I mean? I mean, because you have to game plan, based on what your availability is, and if you have to plan out, maybe the next 5 games, because everybody knows that they have that one scout that goes and scouts the upcoming games, and then you have to figure out what your gameplay gonna be, your defense that you're not gonna run, and the offense that you're not gonna play because everybody runs to the 3-point line, unless Ronald's there. So I at least hope the Lakers know.
I think the Clippers are a different story because Kawhi has a degenerative issue, right?
Right.
So it's more so I know that it's a slow decline where he is at. So the team is in the know of where you're progressing on the scale, right? Mm-hmm. With LeBron, like he's getting these these injuries. We're like, where in the world? When did it happen? Like, can you pinpoint where it transpired? Because I'm trying to keep up with you, right?
Yeah, because we saw somebody fall on his ankle again. And that wasn't the issue.
And it's abdominal.
All right. Now what I'm going to do, because of the odd start to the show, we have to have a proper introduction.
Yes, we do.
So everybody who's watching, listening, stick with us. I'm just going to run our normal commercial. We're going to come in and we're going to do this properly.
Profanity Nation.
A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss, raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.
Hey, here we go. This is the restart of the Profanity Nation podcast. Thank you for joining us. And as usual, I am joined here now by my buddy Money Mike, Stat Pat, and we have a very special guest that gets a proper introduction here. Mike, introduce our guest, please.
Man, let me tell you guys, man. Every week, everybody knows that we're the official sponsor of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club, and every week, we have a star that comes in and just kills it, and we just every time we close the show, we walk out. I was like, man, Andrea, man, that we love her. That's our girl. Like she knows.
We have to get her in here.
She knows more than us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I said we gotta have her come. And say, Andrea, I hit her up like, hey, you in LA? Cool. You gotta come into the studio so we could do this live because there's nothing like having the energy of being in person and to talk about our favorite team, the Lakers. So I want to introduce everybody straight off of Los Angeles Lakers fan club. Andrea Black, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you guys. I truly appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being here.
I'm so happy to be
Finally,
here.
man.
So happy.
Yeah, and the proper introduction. That was much due. That's for sure.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, Andrea, so you are a big Laker fan, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
But you're extremely educated Laker and basketball fan. Let's start before we get into Lakers. I'm kind of curious kind of where that got started. Where did your love for basketball and the Lakers get started?
So I am my dad's first child. My dad instilled, he was a basketball and a football coach. So I was the firstborn for my father. And because he didn't have a son, ta-da, it gets introduced to me.
Right.
I'm playing football, basketball, and volleyball. So I'm introduced to every sport known to man and knowing the inner works, X's and O's of everything. So that's exactly where my love came from.
Nice.
So, but it stuck. You actually liked it then.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because parents sometimes can force you to do it. Doesn't mean you're going to love it.
Right.
So-
But when you're in the forum and when you're literally watching like Magic and you're watching Kobe, it's like, okay, I'm convinced, dude. I'm literally a fan.
Mhm.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. So has it always been Lakers?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No divvy.
No
divvy whatsoever. It's Lakers all day.
Good.
You know what? But with that, you're not a homer. You call it as you see it. You call it as you see it. If the Lakers are defunct, they're doing something wrong, you're going to hold them accountable. You're not blind to the fact because, when you hear other announcers, especially we rarely get to listen to the visiting team's announcers and so forth. But there's a lot of homers out there. Their team can do no wrong and this and that.
It's a fact.
Stu has always been honest. Chick was always honest. You're honest.
I am.
That's important.
Very much so. Very much so.
Mike would like to believe that he's honest too.
I'm really honest. Everybody know where I stand, man, all the time.
Man.
Because I'm looking at this like, what are we doing? I mean, we was at the Charlotte game, and I was pointing out I said, look, Rondo's in there. Everybody's cutting. As soon as Rondo got off the court, everybody went to the 3-point line
and stood around.
And I was like, what are you doing?
Nobody goes inside.
And
nobody
then Rondo got kicked out the game. Oh, God.
But the crazy part about it is, the thing about Rondo is his IQ is so high and he knows exactly where to pass the ball, hit cutters, pass it to the mid-range, the players where they like their shots. And it's like he fits perfectly.
Right.
It's like when he came in, we were down by 6.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden he gets ejected. We're up by 14.
Right.
But he's directing.
He's
going out there. He's actually shows that there's wait, guys, we have an offense. What is that? That's a play. I mean, it's night and day difference.
Absolutely.
And then it just was really scary when the pregame talk from Vogel when he's like, yeah, our only true point guard tonight is Westbrook. Now they went out and won, but you're just like, oh man, because
well, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, I do they have practice? That's my question. Because and who's running it? Because last year we were at the practice facility. You remember that? Jason Kidd, literally, they have 2. You guys have to go to the practice facility. They have 2 full-fledged courts, right? Two of them. Jason Kidd was on the other court where there was no basketball being played. Swear to God. Am I lying?
Mm-mm.
Vogel was over there off of the side, and then you had Rondo. I'm not Rondo. You had LeBron telling everybody what to do.
That's what it seems like is happening. Do you not see the
Right.
sidelines?
Yeah.
Like Vogel doesn't say anything unless it has to do with defense, where I don't know where the heck that is.
Right.
Now,
and you've got
but
Braun right there.
right in the
Right
middle.
there. We saw that, especially against the Hornets. I'm like, step down. What are you doing?
Dude, there's some times where you see LeBron like looking over Vogel's shoulder and pointing down on the clipboard, like, yeah,
Right.
go here.
Yeah.
Like, go here. And you be like, damn, like, for real, like, why are you over his shoulder?
And,
Like,
LeBron
Right.
should not know more than Vogel.
but he does, though.
Yes.
That's the thing.
See,
We don't know.
I'm gonna tell y'all, look, because everybody remember the Phil Jackson days. And Phil Jackson, those huddles were funny too, because literally they were all be in a circle amongst themselves, and the coaches would be all in the circle amongst them. And then
with
like last
3
seconds, they go in there and go. They say something and then they go art break and they go run and win the game. You know what I'm saying? But you knew he had him in check because when he whistled, everybody stopped. You know what I'm saying? So you knew those practices were something else. Yeah. You don't see any of that right there.
Nope.
You know, Phil was asked about that in a town hall I went to. He was sitting there with Mitch and he was asked about that. And exactly what he said. He said, you know, coaching's during practice. During the game, they know what they need to rest. He's also, we get them their rest, get on the bench, get your fluids, get rested, come out. We just give them a short guidance. He's like, but our, practice is when I do my coaching.
Yeah, that's a good coach.
Well, he's the best.
Absolutely.
but I hate to do that. I hate to do that to Vogel though.
Why? Well, because look, you know what Vogel has done?
Because we literally just
this is what Vogel has done.
Jackson,
just comparing him to Phil Jackson.
Okay, but look,
and I'm like, Carlisle comparison.
Okay, cool. That's fair. We're not going to compare Vogel to Phil Jackson, but this is what I will say. Jason Kidd was a hell of a coach for the Lakers.
Hang on, that's what I was going to go with. Andrea, was Jason Kidd that important?
Yes.
Did anybody else know that?
Yes, Bron did.
Besides Dallas?
No. Bron did. And I feel like the roster did as well, because I urge everybody to go back and look. When we called timeouts, Vogel was nowhere in sight. Like literally, Jason Kidd was right there, like in the players' ears, like telling them where we need to be. Yeah. Telling them the calls. That's who Bron would go to first. I feel like the players trusted him. And when we lost him, it was more of like a little knock in the gut a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and then you got Mr. They're not gonna rook us. Fisdale. You got a man there. Which I like my man. I like my man energy, but
he's just there.
He's just there for me. Because I can't
Yeah.
see him taking over. Like hell no, I don't want him taking over. Like Vogel get, Vogel.
Did you say uncle?
Vogel?
Uncle
okay.
Vogel.
Uncle Vogel.
Sounds like a right thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So then let's just bring up the question. It has to be asked. It's early in the show, but it has to be asked, right? Is Vogel in jeopardy? Obviously not today.
Yeah,
but
man.
if so, this season, and who? There's always that. Yeah, get rid of him. Who takes the place? It's not somebody on the bench so far.
Hey, so for me, it has to be Fizdale. I mean, that's LeBron's guy.
You know what you do? You turn Rondo into the coach.
But we need him on the court, though.
Player coach. It hasn't been done in years.
Because if we see Russ mess up one more time in crunch, we're going to need somebody to get in there and get our offense together. So we can't put Rondo. But I feel as though if Vogel fails, I hope he doesn't. However, but if he does, I feel like it's just a push up of the ladder. I think Fizdale will just fit in, defensive minded. Most definitely, we have enough offense to where it can sift through itself, but we need to make sure that defense, because I don't see it. Do y'all see it?
No, there's no defense.
Okay.
But he was a defensive coach. I mean, that's what
everyone said about Vogel. He's a defensive coach. Yeah. Okay,
I can say this though. I've watched a lot of the Lakers, like just like everybody here, and there's some guards up there do not help out the big man when it comes to. I mean, they allow people to shoot, like literally to shoot that. Like I'm like, wait a minute, this is a new 3-point league. You can't allow people just to shoot behind the screen. You got to push them up. You have to make them do things they're not comfortable in doing. And a lot of teams don't like shooting the mid range. Run them off that three, not the flyby. Run them off the contest, but stay contained. Don't just jump for jumping. Jump and contest. So if he has to pump fake, he has to go into the teeth of the defense. You never see any of that, especially when you got Russell out there. And there's some times where Russell will let his man go all the way from the baseline, all the way to the top of the key, and he's still on the baseline. And like you can't. I mean, I don't care what defensive coach you got. If he doesn't put the effort in to try to help out, when people are cutting and nothing like that, you're not going to be able to. Your defense is always going to be poor. And I know we talk about the turnovers, but his defense need to pick up a little bit too.
I agree.
And when you see Rondo or you see like Reeves come in, and all of a sudden Reeves is just like, Caruso
everywhere.
And, and it's like, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That's where
I
it's at.
love Laker fans. I love that almost every year there's a fan favorite, and it's usually a rookie or a unexpected, or it's rare. I mean, look, everyone loves LeBron and everything, but the Laker fan, it was Luke. It was this. We always find Kuz. It was this. It's always that unexpected, and they make him a favorite and just make him feel at home. I just love that.
I think it comes with.
And this year it's Austin Reeves, in case you didn't know.
Yeah, and it's in the midst of all this glitz and glamour of Hollywood, when you have that lunch pail guy, that blue collar dude that's willing to get dirty, that's what always resonates with the Laker fan.
Am I wrong in saying that I see some Danny Ainge in him?
Yeah, I mean, you see,
that's what I see when I see him out there.
Yeah, I mean,
Danny, am I wrong?
I mean, I know what you're saying,
Different
like kind of like tough nose and like in your face kind of D.
Just gonna be there.
But I mean, we like you said Luke. We got Caruso. I mean, we have
Mark Madsen.
We have now. And
Ronnie Turioff was
Ronnie
Ronnie.
Yeah, we love Ronnie, dude. If you put in the work, man, and you bang, or you really putting your body on the line, I think we
don't expect MVP. You don't need to have MVP numbers to be a fan favorite for the Lakers. No. Like you said, put in the work, put in the grind, and you're going to be loved.
I mean, honestly, he's
love
probably
that about our
the shine is probably wore off a little bit for Fish, but Fish was that guy. Fish when he was on. I mean, when he played there, he was always
Rick Fox.
Rick Fox. Those
all
guys. So that's what it is. And we unfortunately don't have a lot of those guys on the team now. We have a lot of guys that have been all-stars. They're been past, stars. So, when you get a guy like Austin Reeves, it's kind of refreshing.
I think that we can have that guy though. Just watching, and this is just me from my vantage point. When I watch Malik Monk, I feel like if he locks in the defense, he's that it factor that can literally shift our Laker team. And his numbers are there. If he gets the playing time, like his numbers matched up with his minutes, it literally just far exceeds his minutes played every single time he's on the floor. So if he locks in on defense, we have our it factor there. I think we have clientele on our roster that can literally fit that mold. We just have to give them the opportunity. THT just came back and he's not hitting a shot. But when I tell you the energy is just different, I swear it's like AD played out of his mind. Russ was put in a pocket, dear God, thank you. And then we have other people that are literally Carmelo's back in his shooting range. Like it's like everything just fit together. It's like that glue. I feel like if we give that opportunity, once everybody heals, and that's the problem with being older and a few younger people, we have to give our chance so we can have these people grow into what they could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now,
but it's very difficult this year though, because the start that we have, and then I turned around because I was focused on what the Lakers were doing and all that stuff. Then I turned around, I was like, wait a minute, Warriors are like 10-1. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I'm like,
without Clay, by the way,
right? Without Clay. So I'm like,
if and when Clay comes back, it'll be plug and play.
Yeah. So I'm like, oh snap, we really got to,
like that. We'll go there.
we really have to start getting this together real quick because we're in 7th place, and I get that the it's early in the season. We were 12, 13 games in, but you have teams right now that really are playing, to go get it. And I need for us to run off 6 or 7 games in a row. So that way we can kind of get in that mid, so everything by maybe All-Star break, it kind of balances out in it. Because if we keep on, playing 500 ball, it's going to be
find yourself right back in that playing game.
It's going to be really hard.
And another thing that I don't see, just to reiterate your point, is there's no sense of urgency.
No,
right.
At all. Like you don't see
that's what's killing
them. It's almost like we just want to be healthy. If we're healthy, we're good. And I think that mentality is going to be the detriment because, like you said before, the Warriors, but they were doing this last year. Like a lot of people weren't paying attention to it, and I was like,
they were balling.
They balling, man, and they got something, and they figured it out. They figured out how to live without Clay, which we didn't think they can do, and now they're showing that they can do it. And they're not playing for something. They're actually looking at like, okay, you guys only won the championship because we were not healthy. But we were not there, and I'm like, I don't like that.
But that's where it differs. So the Warriors have no expectations.
Mhm.
Nobody's expecting them to do.
Yet.
Yeah, we just want them, and we know they're going to make the plans because they have Steph, because he plays out of his mind. He's, always in the scoring runner-up. You know what I'm saying? But nobody has any expectations that they're going to win a championship. Now, for me, I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'm not buying them for the Western Conference Finals or anything like that. I think that they'll be good from day to day when you're seeing a different opponent. Nobody has a game plan, so they can like literally scout you and play you in a 7-game series. You're going to do good right now. And I think for that reason, they'll be in the top 4 seeds. However, I don't think people understand. Clay came back from 2 serious injuries, been gone for over 2 years. If there's anything that I know, you're going to lose a step on defense. And let's be clear with one another. Steph Curry is not good on defense, and you're covering his back. So if you're slacking, that means you're literally slacking for the both of y'all. So where do you think this is going to go?
Yeah, but you still kind of want to have home court advantage, though. I guess that's kind of what my point is. We want to be the top half of the going into the playoffs, right?
I have another question. All right. So we've talked about, Rondo, how important he is for this team. Of course, Rondo was on the championship team in 2020 and then left and then came back. This is by design. This is going to be Rob Pelinka's playbook. He is not going to sign. Caruso took 37 4 years, turned down 2 years, 15. There's $7 million difference if the Lakers just doubled the years and they weren't willing to do it. They're not doing any long-term deals. We're going to continually lose these players and have to plug and play. So when we say we have a Monk or we have a this or we have a that,
they're rentals.
They're rentals for 1 year.
True.
When you talk about that, the Warriors have figured out working past, the Clay issue, at least for now. Their core is still in place, kind of. I mean, there's some players are there, but the core is still kind of there. That will not be Rob Pelinka's plan with this team, at least as far as we can see.
Well, it's never been the Lakers' plan. We always are plug and play. We've been like that since the 80s. Like we have players that come in, fit a role, and go for a ring. We've done that. When Kobe was on the floor, after Shaq left, we're plugging in Powell, we're plugging in Andrew, we're plugging in Lamar Odom. We know what pieces to fit in, and immediately we're running for a ring immediately. That's how the Lakers are. We get a star, we have somebody that we need to win immediately with, and we're just prone to that. That's what we're equipped to do. For me, with the core that we have now, I definitely agree with you. It's literally a win or
this is not the team next year. It's just not going to be.
Oh, it's not. Yeah, and we don't have any draft capital. I don't think. I think so. It's kind of hard to build the team with no draft capital, and then also the free agency. We're over the cap, so it is win or go home or win or bust. And I don't know, but. Even though it looks doom and gloom right now, I just feel that we haven't seen the full complement of our players yet. And once we do,
that sounds so Doc River-ish.
Yeah. But at the same time, I'm like,
you know what? You play with what you got. And this is the team that Pelinka put together with the age and the this and the known issues. That's just a friggin' excuse. It's still preseason. That's to me. Sorry. Yeah. Did I call it? You like that one, Doc Rivers?
That was so funny. No, but seriously, I honestly feel like with the Lakers, like we have players that we're either going to get it done or next year we're right up for a brand new roster. That's just how
even if they get it done, it's going to be a brand new roster.
It's going to be a brand new roster
So
regardless. The only piece that we have that continues, I think Russ would be on the books to stay again another year. But the way things, oh my God, I don't even want to go there.
I mean, and that's my point. I think I said that a couple, shows ago. Like, look, literally last year we were a championship caliber team, and the only thing that hurt us were the injuries, and we completely blew them up to another championship caliber team. That's the only thing hurting us is injuries. So, but what we've lost is we lost the chemistry, right? Because nobody knows how to play with anybody apparently, because that's kind of like what we're seeing. And man, listen. I was happy when THT came in and we saw like a different type of energy.
Exactly.
And like you were saying earlier off air, like Bazemore, like, okay, we don't need him anymore. You know,
I don't never want to see. I mean, look, shout out to Bazemore. You held it down for a little bit.
Thank you, Kent.
But bruh, no. You 12th man.
Our boy THT takes those minutes.
Oh no, all those minutes.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah, so I mean that's the thing. What is our roster that what's our 8 that we could run maybe 6 games in a row, 6 games in a row?
Oh, that would be, we would have Russ at 1. We would definitely have THT at 2. We would have Braun at 3, AD at 4, Dwight at 5. The 3 people off the bench would be Malik Monk. We would have Carmelo Anthony, who is definitely in competition for 6th man of the year. Literally playing out of his mind. And then Rondo. After that, everybody can be plug and chug at that point. I think DeAndre Jordan is buying minutes so he can get familiar and accustomed. So when we get to the playoffs, like you're familiar with our offense and you can just plug in for me, because I'm trying to sit here and wonder, like, Vogel, why is he starting? Just literally point out to me, just wave to Andrea and tell her, yo, we're just getting him familiar, because at this point, I just want to know. It's okay if you just bring me into the know, because certain players fit. And even today, watching the game, man, AD goes for over 30. Like, oh my gosh, the way we should be running our offense. First primary person should always go through AD. If we all knew that, we'll be winning way more games than we're winning.
But it's weird, huh? Right? Like you would think that, right? You would think
it echoes pretty much exactly what you were saying earlier.
Yeah, it's, and I was thinking earlier, and then we had this conversation off air. But it was the fact that now that LeBron got hurt, it almost forces Vogel's hand to play AD at the 5, because at first he wasn't going to do it though. At first, remember the first couple of games that LeBron was hurt, he still had DJ in the starting lineup, and I'm like, what? You haven't heard about spacing? The spacing is ridiculous. Like, who do you have in there? You playing both of them? I mean, it was just like a bad move, and now AD is flourishing at the 5, especially when you put in Carmelo in with him. Like, you can see he has the outlet, which gives me, when we're going back to that Westbrook shot when he actually dribbled the ball down like 8 seconds and shot that 3.
Oh my God, please don't do this.
And you see how Carmelo Anthony's still hot. So I'm thinking, like, why in the world would he never touch the ball? And I'm like,
but he's waving for the ball, like he's literally waving at Russ. And then to your left is literally Carmelo waving, here, me.
Yeah.
To your right is Malik Monk, like, I'm hot too. I just hit the last one.
Yeah.
And you chose to shoot that shot? Why?
What? Wasted 8 seconds. Looked at the clock, and I'm looking like, okay,
24.
and it's just pounding the ball, and then said, I'm gonna shoot for me. And he missed it. And he missed it. So,
all right. Well, we have lots to talk about. Don't go anywhere. We're just going to take a quick little break. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Profanity Nation podcast.
The Profanity Nation is now the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club on Clubhouse. Be sure to join. Over 5,000 strong and growing. Also, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. Again, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. The Profanity Nation is now the official podcast of the Los Angeles Lakers fan club on Clubhouse. Be sure to join. Over 5,000 strong and growing. Also, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt. Again, text Lakers to 22828 for a chance to win a free t-shirt.
All right, we're back. Actually, we never left, so you're still watching and listening to the Profanity Nation podcast. Again, we are the voice of the professional fan. We have Money Mike, Stat Pat Simsta, and our special guest Andrea here today, and she's just knocking it out of the park.
I'm excited.
We are excited, so we're taking it here now. We have a comment here, and this one is from Donovan Duncan. Wow, she should be in the front office. Matter of fact, give her Money Mike's chair. She is better looking. I don't argue that.
This is what we're going through.
I don't argue that.
Bro.
So,
This is what we're going through. Okay, cool. It's all good.
this is where we were going with that. Is that a high
Hey,
guy?
you know what? I get. He's right.
He's right. Yeah, you're right. He is right. You can't argue with
Pretty
that.
dope, though.
All right. So what we're doing here is we're hammering out the Lakers. Now, you just said there was an update on the Golden State Warriors game. They lost tonight, I guess. Well, the Lakers won. They played against the Spurs, and they did get a win today. And like you said, THT came back. Now, if you have been watching the show, kind of since there's it's not hate, it's the truth. There you go, Donovan. Let's go get that up there. THT has been a personal favorite of the show because we all are South Bay Lakers season ticket holders, and we've been watching our boy THT since several seasons ago. Great player, quiet. He was always kind of quiet and just went about his business. But we've been looking forward to this for a while and can't wait to just see him blossom because there's still a lot more to go. You're a big THT fan?
I am definitely a big THT fan. I like the fact that we have somebody that is under the age of 22 and is literally going to flourish. I think that he's a promising piece that complements the Lakers tremendously. He's not scared. Even, watching the playoffs last year, when KCP looked like a deer in headlights, Alex Caruso looked like a deer in headlights. Everybody else on the THT came in the game and scored 20 points immediately. Like, he hit the ground running, and I think that's what I love about him. He fits in perfectly. He complements the core that we have. So I'm grateful, and I want to see what we have in store for THT for sure.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you, Andrea. So he was part of our G League team. You got to go to a G League.
Oh
game
yeah, South Bay. You'll love
because G League game is so much more intimate than like Staples Center. But you're around like you're in a Laker house. But it's real intimate. And that's what you see Caruso. That's what you see THT. That's what you see Gary Payton Jr. That, oh my God, we love him.
Gary Payton Jr.
Yeah. And he
was on South Bay for a while.
I know.
Right. And we were watching these players who like, he's the one. Like you can see it, you can feel the energy. And then you have more of an affinity for them because they're like right next to you. You can talk to them and they're just right there. Then they get on the big stage. I told everybody, said, hey, y'all, THT gonna ball out. And we discovered, I feel like I knew about him 3 years before everybody else did.
Like and Caruso was the same story.
Like you ain't up on this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And then we just show out.
Yeah, we've talked about, for everything that the G League is and so forth. Now they got Team Ignite. The Lakers and the South Bay Lakers have really put out some talent. Some of the players that not all of them have made it onto a Laker squad like Gary Payton Jr., but let me tell you, they're balling.
Right.
They're balling. And the G League is here with the Team Ignite and how many players got drafted in the top 10 from Team Ignite and how many are projected to go this year. I'm telling you, they're here to stay.
Yeah,
it's a different ball game for the G
League. The new guy for the South Bay Lakers, McClung.
So yeah, you went to the game.
He's the new guy, and we're excited about him. He actually him and Reeves are balling in the summer league. So now that he didn't make it to the squad, but he's now killing in the G League, and he's he's our point guard.
We need to find minutes.
I think that's Alex Caruso the second. To be honest, if he picks up his defense, almost the same type of player.
He really is. And I mean, I just like the fact that, like you said, we have an opportunity to see these guys, to see the talent, and they come right into the squad. They come right in to the Lakers squad, and that's really cool.
They work themselves right in. Andrea, you're obviously a fan of the game. Who's the team? We're not going to say the Lakers, but who are the teams that you're expecting to see in the finals? If not the Lakers in the West, we're going to say you expect to see the Lakers, but in the East and West, what do you
don't
expect?
Do that to her. Just ask her about the East.
Dun.
No, she's in there. She's honest. She calls us straight.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest.
She can answer.
You can't sleep on the best scorer that I've seen from my vantage point. KD and what he has next to him, James Harden, when he decides to put the Twinkies down at night, like he looks great in the game, right? So I think that literally Brooklyn, you can't sleep on. Milwaukee's been riddled with injury. But I still think that Giannis is a force to be reckoned with. Nobody can stop him.
Mm-hmm.
You put 3 and 4 people on him, and you're still trying to stop him. And they have 3 or 4 people injured right now while they're on this losing streak. So out of the East, I have Milwaukee, and I definitely have Brooklyn. For the West, golly, I don't want to admit this because so many people have argued with me on Clubhouse, but I'll go on ahead and admit it. The Warriors are scary.
Yeah.
Especially because they have 2 things. Clay, it's not even Kerr. You have the best.
Kerr, blah.
You have Steph Curry. Like, what kind of coaching do you need with Steph Curry?
Dude.
Anyway, but you have Clay sitting on the bench that's coming back, and he's healing fast enough to come back before Christmas. If he is 80% of who he was, that's a scary sight. And then they also have trade bait to go after somebody who's disgruntled in Philly, Ben Simmons. And then you have a younger, stronger, bigger Draymond and Ben Simmons coming over there. If they make that trade, that's a scary sight. I think that between the Warriors, I honestly am not buying, honestly speaking, sorry, Clipper fans, but not really sorry, disrespectfully. But I'm only saying the Lakers and the Warriors have the West zone. That's it.
Lakers and the Warriors. Well, also what the Warriors have again is they have the swagger. They have been there. So even though they haven't been there for a couple of years, they haven't forgotten. They know who they are. They know the team. The team personality is there, and they still have that swagger. So there isn't. You're not thinking that the Warriors are going to get shell shocked in the playoffs or run into bright lights and have an issue. That's not going to happen. So if they're strong, you're going to have to beat them.
Right.
They're not a team that will collapse like the Clippers or something.
For sure.
Yeah. They're a team you're going to have to beat, and they're going to give you your all. So you're absolutely right. They're scared.
Yeah, they look for cracks in the armor. Like they go, and if you're up by they're up by 15 points in the third quarter, and they all of a sudden cut that thing down to 7 going into the fourth, they're like, they got you. Because they look at that's like 2 threes right now. We back in the game. You scared. Like you got 10 minutes to go in the game. We still coming.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they come at you relentlessly. So it's like, I just think they're the ones, and they have a chip on their shoulder. I'm sorry if you winning championships and all of a sudden by injury and all this stuff happens and you see that you got like food or then something left on the bone, you coming back now with energy. Now you coming back to prove
you got that drive.
Now you have drive. Now it's like when the Lakers were motivated. It's like when you had Kobe Bryant.
It's a fact.
And everybody was like, this was Shaq and Kobe, and it's like Shaq and Kobe. And then all of a sudden we had those down years, and then Kobe like, oh, but I got a squad now.
Right.
I got a squad now.
Right.
So now keep talking that stuff now, and we're gonna see. And he showed, and he showed. And this is what I'm saying. This is. You don't want to give a team like that motivate. That's why it's up to the Lakers. And it's good, though. I mean, it's good. Iron sharpens iron. You got to go ahead and meet that. You want to be the man. And if you want your legacy, and that's all I'm talking to all the people on the Lakers team. I'm talking about LeBron, everybody. You want to get your legacy, you got to beat the Warriors. If the Warriors are up there in the Western Conference Finals, the Lakers got to beat the Warriors. They have to.
Listen, at this point, like, if LeBron can make it work with Westbrook, he that guy. I'm just saying.
My man is averaging like 5 turnovers a game, man. I'm like,
hey,
it's more like 9, but okay.
And that's really bad because, everybody was happy today because there was only 14 turnovers. There was only 14
celebration.
So they were like, oh my God, like Lakers have 14 turnovers.
Only.
Westbrook has 7
That's what I mean.
That's what I'm talking about.
We're like, because I was excited, like, oh, cool, we cut down turnovers, but the guard didn't.
He didn't.
The guard didn't.
The most important part, right?
Right. So
and he can't help himself. All right, so that's the problem.
But you know what though? But I think he can, man. I think if they figure out how to run the offense through him and they do some cuts and they run some plays,
he's not a Rondo type.
Stop
point
jumping in the air to make a pass.
Yes.
Stop jumping.
Okay.
Stop leaving your feet. Yeah.
Okay. Stop leaving your feet.
Okay. So we know what's not working, but we do know that this guy was MVP in the league. He averages a triple double. 2-3 years in a row. Like there's something there. We just have to figure out what it is.
The number 2 man at the time was Steven Adams. He ain't asked for no ball. You know what I'm saying?
Who was he? But who was he pass? He was getting those assists to somebody.
He was off the backboard.
He actually
off the back to himself.
Look.
Flipping it up.
Look, we got him. I said, and you guys are witness. I said that I would have preferred Bradley Beal versus Westbrook.
Okay, but that wasn't
Yeah,
available.
But
so.
I was just saying.
Tell
But
him
Buddy
again.
Hield was.
Tell him again.
Mike, that wasn't on the table.
Okay, but like Stat
You
Pat
can
said,
was-
just
like
Buddy
Stat Pat
Hield,
said,
Buddy Hield, or
Now we
Westbrook.
can-
That was it.
Now we can talk about that because Buddy
Yes.
Hield, we decided to take on a whole science experiment in the 7th grade, trying to build a volcano that could explode perfectly at 9.2 seconds with Russell Westbrook. It's like we literally picked the hardest job to complete by fitting him in with our offense when we knew exactly where our deficiencies were. We needed somebody who can create for themselves. We needed shooting, and we needed our big man back. Perfect. Dwight wants to come back. Cool. We brought in DeAndre. Excellent. Then we got a slew of shooters. Yo, but we bring in Russell Westbrook who can't shoot a lick. Like, I don't understand. And then when he's creating for other people, he rather create for himself than others. Yo, this is the first time I've ever seen somebody that averages more turnovers a game than actually field goals made.
That's wild.
Have you looked at
And
that
as
stat?
an all-star.
It was like 50. It's like 50% of the games we've played, he's had more turnovers than actual field goals, like balls in the basket.
That's
I'm like,
crazy.
yo, pass the AD so we
How
can
come
win
we're
this
not?
game.
What,
That's
we're
crazy.
not hearing. I have no idea. But what's his plus minus? I haven't heard anything.
Oh, it's per.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna find out. Andrea's gonna
It's
find out
per,
what.
hey, man, hey, Stat Pat, you gonna let her beat you?
Hey, she got the phone in her hand, man.
All right. So, listener, watcher Donovan Duncan again chiming in. First of all, he said the Twinkies comment was cute, so he liked that. He says it's going to be Golden State and the Suns out of the West. He's all, come on. He's all, it's way too early in the season. The standings will change before All-Star break. Of course, we agree, but that's what we do. We ponder here on the show, and that's what we all do. We all think the sky is falling when our team loses, and then everything's grand and championships are on their way when we win.
And that is interesting because the Suns didn't really do anything with their team. We didn't even mention them.
No, man.
So,
They didn't need to do anything with their team, though. All they needed was because we knew what their sore spot was.
Mhm.
Like after Ayton went out, like you didn't have any big man that could take his spot that was
Right.
experienced enough. Now you bring in JaVale McGee, who ding, 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 one with the Lakers, one with the Warriors. You have somebody experienced coming in for him off the bench. Like you did what we were supposed to do.
Right.
You plugged and chugged what you were missing, and you kept going with the pieces that you had. I think that the Suns, they're having a rocky start, honestly speaking, because Ayton hasn't signed his extension.
Yeah, they
That
playing
money
games.
hanging over
They
his
playing
head.
games.
Like, look, come on, man. Y'all need Ayton. Don't play that game.
Yeah.
Y'all want to be stuck with
They-
JaVale McGee starting? Come on, bro. We don't want that.
But apparently, their front office is in turmoil right now,
Yeah.
from what
Oh,
we're
yeah.
hearing.
Understood.
So
Absolutely.
who knows what's going on in that area there?
Dude, I don't think I want to sign that contract.
Yeah, right.
Get me out of here
Yeah,
on the
you
first
know.
trade smoke.
you know, and that really is interesting though, because Chris Paul, when he was all into the whole revamp of the Clipper situation, he's like, we'll have to wait and see. What do you mean you have to wait and see? You've been through something similar. Like, why are you waiting to see it now?
40 million.
Why are you waiting to see now though?
Look, Chris Paul don't care about nothing but that dollar sign. You hear
He's
me?
almost out the door.
But I mean, he was all into the orchestration of, everything.
Man, this man is the president. Like, he can sell you a dream. Chris
Yeah,
Paul
man.
don't care.
Right.
That man is
I
trying to
feel
get his
you.
millions, bro. At the end of the day, he's on a team that's not terrible. And that's the key.
Yeah.
I want to be on a team that, yo, if I'm plug and chugged in here, we're not terrible. I actually
Yeah.
can make a run. And that's what he did for himself. Plus, you're making all these millions when you can't even stay on the floor 60% of the time. You
Yeah.
got a whole great,
He's
great,
good.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Graham.
Yeah.
All right, so let's just go around the table. We'll start with you. We're gonna put you on the spot, Andrea. We talked about the Westbrook. We talked about the Buddy Hield. We all know it's come out that literally the Buddy Hield deal was basically done. Kuz thought he was going to Sacramento. Somebody came in and said, no, go this way and do it now. Who made that call?
You want me to answer that?
You already know that.
You want me to answer
Well,
that?
we know that Palinka signed off on it, and then
You want me
Jeannie-
to know? You want me to tell
who
you
made
what?
that call?
Bro, you know,
We know,
Braun
but we gotta
said
see.
bring Russ to LA.
Okay, so
you
then he
know
owns
Braun
this.
said bring my friend to LA.
Yeah, wait. You know,
Okay,
yeah.
okay, so he owns this then. If it doesn't,
Who else has the leverage
He
to
ain't
say
gonna
bring
own
him
it,
here
though.
and
You
veto
know.
some other deal that's almost penned?
Yeah.
It has to be your superstar, right?
Yeah.
unless it's a Palinka saying,
It can't
I
be.
don't believe.
That
I don't
makes
believe
no
it was.
sense.
Okay,
Hey, you know what?
Hell no.
Chef knows the answer to that.
I do.
Yeah, I mean,
Rhetorical,
Carmelo said it. Carmelo said it. Y'all know that
Yes.
they had an interview with Carmelo, and when LeBron called Carmelo and said, "Hey, what do you think about me coming? I mean, about you coming over here?" And Carmelo basically said, "Hey, man, it's up to you. You the GM."
Yep.
You know,
Exactly.
I mean, that's literally what Carmelo
Exactly,
told
Money
him.
Mike.
and said that
So-
in the freaking
And this is-
interviews
and-
after.
Right. But
This was
Carmelo
after the
said
trade.
that LeBron was the GM.
Yeah.
You know, so
And he said that really because this really happened after that trade. So it was like he like, wait, oh, you already making moves.
right.
Listen,
Like-
we're not strangers to this, though. Like, Braun's been doing this since Miami. He's
Yeah.
been doing this everywhere he
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah.
Like, but the crazy part about it is, and this is what gives me solace at the end of the day, when LeBron creates a team, 9 times out of 10, we gonna win.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, I'm waiting for you to come back, homie, so we can win this thing. Because right now, sir, you're sorely missed. That's all I gotta
Bruh.
say. Right now, you're sorely
Hey.
missed.
Hey, look.
I
Y'all,
need-
y'all know Kuzma's averaging 15 and 9.
Man,
I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm telling you, I
15
told
and 9,
everybody,
yeah.
if he gets to Washington, I said, watch
Man.
this. He gonna average 18 and 10
Man.
easy. Give him a year and a half. That man's
And
gonna make
my
some work.
Hey, Montrez averaging, I think, 14 and 12.
But we
Let's get
know.
it.
But we know.
KCP doing what KCP do.
Contavious.
Yeah, he's still contagious.
He's still contagious.
He's still, yeah.
You know, he's
Yeah, he's
bro.
contagious. Contagious is still
Not
averaging
KCP,
8 points.
nah.
8 points,
No
and
nicknames
3
here.
assists. Yeah.
Look,
No, but he gets it done on the defense. That perimeter defense is uncalled. Like, honestly, this is what made me shed a tear randomly one day. I'm watching our defense work on the perimeter, and I'm like, yo, I really miss KCP right now. Yo, because
He would have
I'm
tightened
like,
up that corner.
exactly. I'm like, yo, every time AD gets sucked to the perimeter, there's no weak side. I'm looking like, yo, that's an easy layup. I already know it's coming. Just go on ahead and score so we can go on offense. Like, I really missed him, but hopefully with THT back, we can even this score. And Trevor Ariza, please get well, sir. Please,
Yeah,
thank you.
I'm telling you. I mean, I think our wing
It's just that we're
defenders-
putting our hopes on. I love
Right?
Trevor, but oh man, we're pinning our hopes on it.
I mean, but at the end of the day, though, Jeff. I mean, we ain't got no choice, man.
Right.
I mean, you feel me? Like it's like you say this, you say this like I'm supposed to be like, but who else is gonna walk
It's
through
either
that
Trevor
door?
or Kent, though.
You know what I'm saying? Who walking through that door? It's the people that we waiting to get off the injury list. Okay.
That's
Other than
true.
that, we ain't got no money. Okay, we waiting.
we have no roster spots.
It's like a new signing when they come off the injury list.
And
Like,
and the only person that any team will want is THT.
yo, yeah,
We,
of course.
we are not making. We can't make a single trade.
No.
We can't get rid of Westbrook. Everyone will want us to throw in THT.
That's why we I don't know if you guys knew, that's the reason why we didn't get Kyle Lowry, because we wouldn't part with THT.
Mm.
It is.
So we could have a high scoring point guard at this point that can
Yeah, you're right.
actually see the
Compared to-
floor
Yeah.
if we were willing to part with THT. But I am glad that we kept him, because moving forward, the Lakers always get themselves stuck in a rut after somebody leaves, and then we're like, yo, where are we going from here? Who are we
Usually
gonna
somewhere in that
get?
guard
Well, see,
position.
Yeah.
The problem with that, like, nobody's thinking like past that. Like, it's like, oh, this is the star. We're gonna get him.
Uh-huh.
And nobody like thinks like, oh, but we are losing defense. We are losing, execution and gameplay and pits and like because I mean, here's the thing. I feel that there needs to be obviously stars on the team, but they need to be put in with players that know how to play their role.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't have players that know really their role, the intricate people. You know what I mean? Like, we have so many stars and they expect for them to be a star, have a star role. Like, my whole thing is like, look, hey, okay, cool. I would sit LeBron and Westbrook down. All right, cool. I got to start both y'all because, I got to start. But look, LeBron, you're going to have your, at 6 minutes, you're going to go out. I'm sorry, Westbrook. At 6 minutes, you're gonna go out. We're gonna put Rondo in, and y'all ain't gonna be on the court at the same time. No more.
You got to stagger minutes.
No more. Like the only y'all literally are gonna have 6 minutes in unless something happens, there's foul troubles and stuff like that, make adjustments. But other than that, I'm not ever having Westbrook and LeBron on the floor at the same time.
I've been saying this from day one. It doesn't make sense because you can't play Russell Westbrook off the ball because we gonna have the same 24-second shot clock situation with him at the 3-point, like with Braun on the ball. Because we know with Braun, he's not coming off the ball.
Right. No,
like it's not happening.
And that's what I was saying when I said Westbrook won't be effective unless he has the ball.
But you know what's funny though is that, and I remember saying that we were talking about it. I remember saying like, you know what, we gotta let Russ be Russ. Russ got to handle that rock because
don't ask him to change,
and then can't let him change because you don't want him. You want him to be able to do what he does because we want him to be comfortable. If this was comfortable, look like then LeBron, you didn't hold that rock. You let him.
But here's the thing, though. But it
doesn't look bad if he comes off the bench. I know that will never happen.
Yeah.
I know it will never happen. We pay him too much money. He's definitely a starter. He's going to start. But I think that if he
played with the bench squad,
yes,
okay, so
he could be him. He could be him.
He has to know. I think big players on the team need to know what their role is. We knew with. I hate to go back to Phil Jackson.
Oblivious.
I hate to go back to Phil Jackson. I knew when I could look at the clock and knew what the lineup was going to be. That's all I'm saying.
That's a fact.
Can we get some part of that? Like if we get that,
that's important for players because they play better knowing when to expect it and getting into a rhythm.
Yeah, and you know what? Because
that's not a small thing.
There are some players. That's why I really, really hated like what went on with Montrezl Harrell last year because he's an energy guy. So he's a guy that you need to get in early so he could get that energy so it could be infectious for the rest of the team so that way we could play. But they was putting Montrezl Harrell in at like junk time. He was trying to give that energy, but the game was already lost. So what's the energy for?
And he doesn't have
perfect example, today, THT came in with that energy and everybody fed off of that. And we actually, because we had been winning games, but I wasn't even really happy with the wins because they weren't like dominating or, and it wasn't, you just didn't feel like, okay, we got this. You know what I mean? This game against San Antonio, you kind of feel like, oh, we got this. I see a flow. I see people doing this.
Money Mike? You know what that is, Money Mike?
THC, go ahead.
No, it's literally an energy and a leadership.
Right.
Okay. When THC gets on that floor, it's like he brings a different energy to the game. Like everybody is excited. Everybody knows where to go. Because he knows his role. He can hit the outside shot. He can create for himself. He can go off the dribble. Like you don't have to depend on Russ to create for you. And I think that's what our issue was before. We had so many people waiting for that pass from Russ after he's expiring 16 seconds off the 24-second shot clock. I'm like, yo, why are you doing this, dude? Are you looking for a shot for yourself? Like, move the ball. What are you doing?
And why isn't he being held accountable? That could only happen once, twice in a game, and then come here for a second.
Absolutely.
But get your ass over here for a second.
Right?
We need to freaking talk.
This is what makes you mad about that. This is what makes you mad about that. As bad as Russ plays, he always ends up with almost a triple-double.
That's smoke and mirrors.
No, it is smoke and mirrors. No, I agree.
Dude,
I agree with you.
Every day on Clubhouse. Every single day. I'm sorry. I don't care if he has 16, 15, and 12, bro. If we lose, at the end of the day, your numbers are supposed to help and catapult. You're a point guard. You are the instructor on the floor, the coach on the floor. You're supposed to propel everybody else's offense and defense, bring the morale together, and be the coach on the floor. If you're getting a triple-double and we're losing, you're being selfish at the end of the time. For me, the best Russ we get is when he's averaging 10, 10, and 10. No more. No less. I don't need you to score anything. I need you to take those layups when they're wide open. Okay. I don't need you creating any shots for yourself.
He does need to make those layups, by the way.
He does. That's what I'm saying. I need you to make these layups, and there's like 4 or 5 a game. I need you to create for everybody else, and I need you to rebound because you know exactly where to be. Other than that, your job is done, sir.
Yes. I mean,
well, look, and I agree with you. But what happens is when everybody looks on the paper, they're like, "Oh, well, he had triple double, so he's worth whatever they say he's worth."
well, I mean, I tell everybody like, and I've been saying this since the beginning of the season. You show me a point guard on a championship team that averages 4 turnovers a game.
Thank you so much.
And
I'll wait.
You tell me, and I'll wait.
I'll wait.
Because you know it's not happening. So I can tell you right now, if we can have we can have everybody on the court shooting over 40% from three. We can have a top 15 defense. We can have top 10 offense. We can have all that. But if my man is still averaging 4 turnovers a game and doing turnovers in the crucial fourth quarter moments, we're not winning anything. It doesn't matter. He's going to
that's where they all come
sabotage. He's going to sabotage it before we even get to a point that we can win the game.
Hey, Jeff, I know we're running out of time, but you see that BBJ trade he just threw up there on the comment?
Damian Lillard. Yeah. Let's go ahead and run that back here really quick. Okay, so he's saying trade Westbrook and THT for Damian Lillard.
Are we doing that, Andrea?
Absolutely. What the heck kind of question is that?
I just want to throw it at her.
That's just what that.
I just want to throw it at her.
What you mean? No, hold on.
I'm trying why?
Let's
Why
be clear. No. Let's be clear.
No, I'm not saying that we're not.
No.
I just want to throw it to you
But
first.
let me make it real plain for you. Damian Lillard is a point guard that can score from 3, deep 3, get to the rack, create for others. Then we got LeBron right next to him, just in case you have a malfunction mentally on how the offense should work. I know that you're still going to hit that shot that I need you to hit. But THT, who else you want? You want Kent? You can have Kent too. You want Kent?
Dude, you can have them all, dude.
Hey, BBJ, you got your answer.
Don't play games.
You can have Kent too.
What a BBJ.
Baby John.
I mean, Lillard?
Hey,
my goodness.
Look, we just responded to the comments.
I'm telling you, man. I'm mad at it. We didn't get healed. Like, I'm just like, that's how far I'm like, you don't even need to go above and beyond. You just need somebody that can do what I need you to do. And if they go out there and they try to close out on a 3, you're not a deer in headlights. You actually can put the ball on the floor. You can get to the rack and you can create for others if you need to. That is something the Lakers are missing. And they went out and they just, instead of getting just something a little couple pieces, they went all over the place.
That was the risk they took when all the news was healed and they did a reverse and went this way. It was win everything or a huge mistake, because he would have been here probably longer than a year. We would have started a new core. If you watch the show, if you're a fan of the Profanity Nation podcast, then you happen to know that every single episode we end it with a special segment that we call Money Mike's Out of Bounds. Money Mike is going to share a little thought, opinion, his thoughts on a topic, and he just wants to know, is it in bounds or out of bounds? Money Mike, you got it.
I really want to, I think y'all gonna agree with me. I always say that, right? But you know what? I was looking at this week, and there were 2 things that happened this week. There was a Jokic push of my guy Morris, right?
Hey.
And
I'm here for it.
Right,
I'm all here for that.
And then there was the little tussle with Gobert and who was that? Not, is it Mitchell? Whatever, they pulled him down and they, I don't know what they started doing. It's like they started slow dancing or something.
WWE.
They started slow dancing.
Toggle.
And I was thinking, when I was like, dude, why are they doing this? And then Gobert said something that really made sense. He was like, look, ain't nobody about this life in right now, right? So ain't nobody gonna fight. We already know that somebody gonna come in and do this. So, and I was like, you know what? He's right. So am I out of bounds to say they shouldn't even be acting like they want to be trying to fight, because ain't nobody really trying to fight. Ain't nobody scared of nobody. Everybody knows that everybody going nuts in the off season. Back when Magic really hated Bird. Jordan really hated Isaiah. You felt that tension when they went. The freaking Rick Fox in the preseason game went and got Doug Christie. We ain't getting none of that no more. Those times are over. Am I out of bounds that they shouldn't even act like they mad at somebody?
Okay. No, you're not. Okay, you're not out of bounds. I say that. Not out of bounds. But I say this. That Gobert situation, that's weak. Now the Jokic and Marquise Morris, okay, see, we can talk about it, because at least Jokic was like, okay, I'm tired of the BS. Okay, you try me. Okay, first of all, Jokic was bad. I mean, he can't pull up from the logo try to shoot a 3 when you up by 15 points. Okay, he in violation. Okay, he knew that. So he knew something was going to come. But when he shot it and Morris came and tried to hit him in his ribs, you exposing me and you hurt me on purpose. And that's like, for real, like that can really hurt me.
Forearm shiver.
So when he came and he basically cleaned him up, just clean him up and he was on the floor. I'm all for that. Like, look, and I'm like this.
But they're not real though.
But but you don't know the whole story though. Because then all of a sudden the other brother coming, the twin, he talking like, you gonna do it behind the back. Now, I don't know if you know about Joker's brothers. I don't know if you've seen them.
Lord,
They look scary.
Have you seen the mugshot?
I don't know if
They
you've
look
seen them.
scary to me.
I don't know if
They look, you know what?
about
They
them.
look like the bad guys in a like rock movie.
Everyone, dude.
They
They
look,
do.
Chechens.
Like the next
they
bad
look,
guys in
they
the
look
new
like the
Triple
bad guys
X.
in Rush Hour. I'm sorry.
Yeah, dude, I'm not messing with that.
Yeah, for real.
Like, we
Like,
need to cast them in one of our shows. Let me tell you.
the Jokic brothers are seriously something I'm not messing with.
Nah.
I mean, you come out of war-torn Eastern Bloc Europe and you live in
They
a
ain't worried
small,
about
they ain't
anyone
worried
in
about
basketball.
nothing, dude.
They
They
worried
live
about
in their
Brooklyn,
best
they
life
ain't
right now.
worried about-
Everything is house money at this point.
So he's inbounds.
He's inbound.
All right. You're out of bounds. The reason why you're out of bounds is from what I went through today. It's basketball.
Oh, no, we can't do that.
Time. It's basketball. It's competition. These guys are going to step up and try and stand up because they're in competition. They may know they're not
We
going
do
to
not have
fight.
time
and
to
so
talk about what
forth.
you went through today.
We don't have any time for that. But anywhere
Wait till we tell you what happened today.
All right. So even at street ball games on the court, you're getting a run. Things get heated. It's going to happen.
But that's real.
Yeah, but when you're on the court and these guys are on the court, they're responding, they're reacting, they're not thinking where am I? This and that. They're just responding.
Look, we got wait,
Out of bounds.
Andrea, wait,
He just loves.
we
be
have to
perfect.
summarize. We have to summarize what Jeff. Jeff was actually we was filming for our show at a street ball event at a park, and there was a fight, and nobody was breaking the fight up. That's what I'm. My point is in the NBA, they got 5 seconds to look at each other. Ain't nobody throwing a punch, and now it's all hold me back.
The refs are
smack.
already there,
Right.
dude.
Literally
Yeah.
at his event, they got cameras out watching to see what's going to
They
happen.
were cheering.
That's the difference.
There's about 200 people cheering, to be honest with you.
Go ahead, Andrea. I'm out of bounds.
Look, the way I saw that fight, all applause to Jokic, man. I'm serious, yo. This man is airborne with his ribs exposed. I don't know if it's a pass or a shot, but he was airborne, so you can't protect yourself. You're getting a shot with the elbow and a shoulder in your rib cage, and you're walking away like, huh? And you the 14th man on the bench.
Yeah.
Stop it, bro.
Yeah.
You came in just to enforce some stuff.
Yep.
You don't make any difference here.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, you can't police how I come at you after
Right.
you done tried to take me out. Sorry, I'm the reigning MVP, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're the 14th man on your bench. So if I come at you and I get an extra rush hour whiplash going backwards, hey, man, you should have never turned your back. So I think you're inbounds. I think that nothing was going to happen anyway.
Right.
The refs are there.
Yeah.
I think I actually like the competition. Yo, the Jokic brothers already bought tickets to the game on November 29th. I'm ready to see part 2.
dude.
Let's go.
I just wanted to be real. That's all I'm at. That's all I'm saying.
Well,
I just
that's
wanted to be
real. That's
I think that's real. That's real as it's gonna get. Like they for real. Like I mean, bro, if you ain't seen a man, do some homework, man.
Yeah, do some homework on
these guys, dude.
the Jokic brothers. Money Mike, you've got something special. Go ahead.
Hey, so we're at the end of the show. We love to give gifts out to all of our guests, but these are really special gifts because these are our shirts. I'm giving you 3 of them, Andrea. First one, we're going to give you our Profane Nation trophy. Shirt, so you can rock that. But then, because I know you very well. I know how you be feeling about all this stuff. I got you a trade 'em shirt. So whenever you see somebody, you just wear that trade 'em shirt, and then they gonna say who you want to trade, right? And then if you think somebody making too much money, you say how much longer is this contract? Okay. So I'm gonna give all 3 of these. I'm giving all 3 of these shirts to you. So you can go rock them because
Thank you, guys.
Whatever feeling. So if you just happy about the championship, boom. You want to trade somebody, boom.
Listen,
you want the contract to expire, boom.
This Profanity Nation shirt will be worn at the parade this year.
All right, there we go. Appreciate that.
I love it.
Let's do it.
Well, thank you so much, Andrea, for showing up and joining our show tonight. Again, we couldn't wait, and we're definitely going to invite you back.
Thank you.
You promise you're going to come back at some point?
I promise.
All right.
I
Deal.
promise.
All right. Everybody else, thank you for watching the Profanity
Where can
Nation
everybody find
podcast.
Andrea? Hold on.
Oh, there you go. Please.
Oh goodness. You can find me on Instagram at DreaBaby115. You can find me at Clubhouse, Drea knows _NBA. I have my room. I'm part of Laker Nation on Clubhouse. Most definitely. Please come and join us. Talk about it. We definitely talked about the bumps and bruises on the way to this ring that we are about to get this year. So I'm so excited.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Again, so I'll close up the show. Thank you for watching the Profanity Nation podcast. We appreciate your time. Be sure to download the TGM Sports or the TGN app. That's where you can also play our show live. And then also definitely go on to Clubhouse and join the Los Angeles Lakers fan club, because that's where you can participate in the show. Until next week, have a great week. We will see you then. And thank you guys so much.
Peace.
Profanity Nation.
Profanity Nation. A podcast for the fans, by the fans. Dive deep into the topics the other shows miss. Raw and uncensored.
And he's going to play team ball. His legacy is at stake.
Rare, hard-hitting interviews with players, coaches, and you, the super fans.
I'm not hating. I'm like, okay, cool. Good.
3 championships in 5 years. He's more than good, bro.
Profanity Nation. Listen live or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. Powered by Jesse Brown of Keller Williams.